This is your COVID relief information. So I've been watching a lot of headlines and videos about the four executive orders that Donald Trump signed on Saturday, August 8th. And I think a lot of people are they're getting the wrong information, or they're getting a little bit confused. And I just wanted to go ahead and clear out some of the misconceptions that they might be perceiving from these four executive orders. So again, I have some notes here that should help. I'm not really relying on the notes that much, but I have them as a guidance. So we'll dive straight in because I'm not trying to make this video that long. So the first one was our unemployment. But before we jump into that, I wanted to just go ahead and just get this out there. This COVID relief for proposal, I'm not exactly sure how to put it, executive order, does not include any stimulus check, and it doesn't include like a lash bill to cover some of the other issues that the country is facing right now financially. But let's jump back into the unemployment. So as we know, the unemployment for those with lost their jobs due to no fault of theirs was increased by $600, funded 100% by the federal government, and that was set to expire on July 31st. As we know, it is already August. There have been no bills that have been so far passed that is supposed to extend it. So all we've had so far just suggestions or bills that were proposed. So for example, we have our CARES Act, which was the bill that was actually passed with the $600 that was included in it for unemployment, in addition to what your state gave you. Again, every state has different set amounts, but the $600 was fixed for every state. So diving back into it, the HEROES Act was proposed by the Democrats, and they proposed an extension of the $600 till next year. Recently, we had our HEROES Act that was proposed by the Republicans, and they proposed a reduction from the 600 to the 200. So we're not actually going to go into that because that's not important right now. What we need to focus on will just be our enhanced unemployment based on the one of the four executive orders that was proposed by Donald Trump. So what he's suggesting is he wants to continue the unemployment assistance from 600 to 400. That should continue on August 1st, right? Again, there's no timeline when the funds are supposed to be available, but that's what he's suggesting right now based on the executive order. So again, with these funds, it is going to be funded by both the federal government and the state. So the federal government will be responsible for 75%, and the state will be responsible for 25%. In short, $300 from the federal government, $100 from the state and local government. All right, so the question is, when do we expect this bill or this executive order to go into effect? That we do not know, but whenever it does, if it does, then you shouldn't worry because the payments will be retroactive to August 1st, which should just be pretty much a continuation from July 1st. So a lot of people have been asking, where is the money supposed to come from? Are they supposed to come up with new funds? So pretty much what Donald Trump is saying is he could redirect some of the money that was set aside from the CARES Act. In particularly, we're looking at the disaster relief fund, which he's expecting some of that fund. But again, by taking money from that, then we're pretty much saying hey, we do not expect any disasters, even with the hurricane alerts and stuff like that. that's pretty much what they say. It's like we do not expect any disasters to occur, and we rather spend that money that was set aside for a disaster relief to go into unemployment. So again, Congress has control how much money the federal government spends. So again, this is a decision that has to go through Congress. So I'll jump straight into the next one. So our next one is going to be an eviction. So the stuff about eviction is I don't think it was such a big deal, because if you had lost your job and you qualify for unemployment, chances are you were receiving enough money to be able to pay your bills. But again, just as a protective measure, there was included in the Carers Act, there was a section that covers ban on eviction, not rent forgiveness. It's like not like they're completely two different stuff, but you were able to defer your rent to pay them, or defer your mortgage, and that was set to expire pretty soon. And pretty much, I believe it was supposed to expire sometime in July, and we obviously in August, and right now people are facing the possibility of being evicted. So again, with the eviction ban, it was not for everybody. So I took a note down, and it looks like you had to be living in a property that was backed by the federal mortgage program. So again, if you were under one or a similar program, then you were pretty much protected. So you could go without paying your rent, which I believe most people were paying their rent, but just in case you weren't able to pay your rent, then you were protected. So let's jump straight into the next one. The second one is kind of like, it doesn't really apply to a lot of people, but it applies to some students. So this was the student loan deferment, which was pretty much defer your payment, not student loan forgiveness. That's like another topic, but just a deferment where you could defer your payments, including the interest, and that was set to expire in September. And so far, stuff are now going back to normal. So the next executive order was to pretty much extend that beyond September. I was guessing into next year, 2021, with my best. I mean, it says it should extend it to next year, but my best bet is probably like sometime in January of 2021. That's when you should probably expect your payments or your interest to resume. So we'll just jump straight into the next one, which should be a continuous payroll tax cut. I believe it was about 7%, so technically it's about 7.56% or so. Again, I'll double check on those figures, but pretty much being employed, you usually pay, or your employer reduces or takes out a percentage of your salary every time you work. So pretty much what he was saying was, again, don't be confused. This again was just a deferment. He's like proposing a deferment. Pretty much what this would do is, instead of your employer taking away money from your paycheck, that money will be given back to you. But then there's a catch, because even though you're receiving this money, you still owe the IRS this money at some point in the future. So again, it wasn't waived, it was just deferred, it wasn't canceled, it wasn't eliminated. So all this does is just give you more of your money now, so you could have more money to take home. But then at the end of the day, what happens? You have to pay back this money. But before we continue, Donald Trump promises that if he's re-elected, then, so that was a catch, he will look for a way to get this money that you're keeping now to be forgiven. Remember, there's a catch. Again, there's no guarantee. It's just a promise, but then promises mean nothing pretty much. Promises that I like to see stuff like written down and executed. So those were pretty much like the 4 executive orders. I know we didn't go in depth regarding them, but so again, what do we actually expect from this? We actually think the president could do that. So the answer is yes or no. I'm leaning more towards the no side because I felt like what he's doing is actually a political move. So what he's doing is he's trying to put pressure on the Democrats because right now everything that's happening with the negotiations between the Republicans and the Democrats being delayed or going on unsuccessfully actually made the Republicans look really bad because the Democrats have figured out like, hey, they're the ones in power, they're the ones in the office. Pretty much the Democrats have all the power, they have all the power of negotiation. So pretty much if a bill is not passed to the liking of the Democrats, then they could just like say, hey, we don't want it. And then the longer they take, guess what? The American people are going to start feeling like, how do I really put it? I don't want to go into like the political aspect of it. I just want to put it in a way that you and I can understand. But then like us, the American people, will be thinking like, man, should we continue putting our trust in these people that could even like take care of us when we needed them the most? So like it makes them look bad. And so what Donald Trump is doing, again, I don't want to go into politics, but what he's trying to do is like one of those where on the headlines we're pretty much diverting the information from, hey, the Republicans don't want to like come up with the deal, they don't want to agree with the Democrats, they don't want to compromise with the Democrats, like because they're the ones in power, so they take most of the blame. Like if you could notice, I keep putting the blame on the Republicans because that's exactly what's happening. And so far, what could possibly happen with this 4 executive order is the Democrats are definitely going to challenge it and they might take it to court. But Donald Trump also says, hey, if anybody challenges it, which he knows they will, like he knows this is not going to like just go pass on freely. He knows that, but he's about to like switch the blame from the Republicans to the Democrats because then at the end of the day, if anybody challenges this bill, I mean the executive orders, then guess what? You become the enemy. And that's the stuff. A lot of people have noticed this. They've seen, especially people that are unemployed, rely on the unemployment insurance, not just from the state, but the unemployment boost. They've seen the 400 and they're like, oh my God, thank you, Donald Trump. But no, before you start getting all rejoiced, there's no deadline. We're not even sure if this is going to go through. And again, the big like information here is there's no timeline. So this is not official. As a matter of fact, I think all this is going to do is, again, we know the Senate was supposed to go on recess last week, or maybe today, I don't know. I stopped paying attention. But I think they're scheduled to come back. Not all of them, but some of them are scheduled to come back to work to continue negotiations. But all this does is starting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm sure they're going to come up with a bill, and then it'll probably take like another week or two to get it passed, signed, voted on, and like signed into a bill or whatever. But again, this right here means nothing. Like I just don't want you guys to be misinformed. This is all political, and it has nothing to do with actually like helping us right now. Like it has nothing to do with it. It doesn't increase jobs. It doesn't create jobs. It does nothing for the COVID spread, and it is all political at this point. Do not pay attention to it. Do not get your hopes up. You should continue searching for work. For example, I search for work every single day. Continue doing that. We need jobs to come back, you know. That's what we should be focusing on. Like, do not, if you get a little unemployment boost, you should be happy with it. But at that age, us being professional, we should really have some money saved for at least 6 to a year worth of income to pay for our bills in case of an emergency. We don't want to end up like all these companies that couldn't even survive for 2 months without getting bailed out by the federal government. No, you don't want to be that person. So again, if you found this video interesting, go ahead and like, subscribe to my channel, and then give me recommendations in the comment. Let me know how you feel about the way the United States is handling this whole pandemic in general. And if you're in Texas, you should definitely let me know in the comments. So maybe we could meet up, collab, and work on some videos together. And again, thank you for stopping by my channel.